What if you could edit any video as easily as editing a sentence, change clothes, replace objects, insert completely new elements, transform an entire scene, generate images, create text to video, reference to video, video to video, and much, much more using just a single model while keeping the motion and temporal consistency intact? That's exactly what ByteDance's new open source model, Bernini, is trying to achieve. Now, Bernini isn't just another AI video model. Instead of relying purely on diffusion, it first uses a powerful multimodal AI planner to understand exactly what needs to be changed inside the video. And then a dedicated renderer generates the final result. This two-stage approach gives it incredibly accurate edits, much stronger identity preservation, better object consistency, and significantly improved temporal consistency throughout the video. So for this tutorial, I've created a complete ComfyUI workflow for Bernini. If you want to use the exact same workflow, you can download it completely free from my Patreon page. There's absolutely no paywall or hidden charges. So with that said, let's jump straight into the workflow. As you can see over here, this is the complete workflow. Let me zoom in a little so it's easier to understand. We'll be taking this girl over here wearing the red top as our reference image. And over here we have the load video node. This is simply the source video that we're going to edit. You can replace it with any video you want, but for this example, we'll be using this basic clip. Over here, we have the Bernini Studio node. I'll show you exactly how to install this later in the video, so don't worry if you don't have it yet. One thing I really like about Bernini Studio is that it makes everything very convenient. You can see different task modes available depending on what you're trying to achieve. For this example, we're using reference image to video editing, where the model edits the video using a reference image. This task expects a reference image, which is referred to in the prompt as IMG0. Bernini even shows you how to format the prompt correctly, which is extremely useful because prompting is one of the most important parts of using this model. The better your prompt, the better the final result. Bernini also supports multiple reference images depending on the task you're performing, but for this workflow, we're only using a single reference image. Moving down, these are the model loaders. Here we're loading the WAN 2.2 Bernini high-low model, along with the LightX 2V model clip, the VAE, and all the required components. I'll leave download links for every single model, including the diffusion models, in the description below. Next, let's look at the high sampler section first. You can see the width, height, and video length at the top left. Right below that, we have both the high sampler and the low sampler that Bernini uses during generation. Now let's look at the output. Honestly, it looks pretty impressive. The identity has been preserved surprisingly well. The face does look slightly plastic in some frames, I'm not going to lie, but overall it's a very good result considering how much editing is happening. If we zoom in, you can see that almost every important detail remains consistent throughout the video. The necklace stays the same, the bag remains consistent, the clothing matches, and the overall appearance is maintained. The face isn't perfect. I'd say it's around 90 to 95% accurate, but that's still a really impressive result for an open source model. Now let's try another example. We'll use this slow motion clip of the girl and apply exactly the same reference to video workflow. The prompt still uses IMG0 as our reference image, and almost all the settings remain the same. We're using Euler, normal scheduler, sigma split, and CFG of 1. The only thing I'm adding here is the VBVR LoRa. Now, technically this LoRa was designed for WAN 2.2 and not specifically for Bernini, but I wanted to test whether it would improve the results. Let's generate the video and see what happens. And honestly, I think it actually works quite well. The face looks noticeably better, the motion quality remains smooth, and the overall identity preservation is improved. Once again, the necklace, the bag, and all the important accessories remain consistent throughout the video. Now, let me show you the exact same example without using the VBVR LoRa. I've simply disabled the LoRa while keeping every other setting exactly the same. Let's compare the result. As you can immediately see, the face changes much more noticeably. The overall identity isn't nearly as stable compared to the version generated with the VBVR LoRa. So, if you're planning on doing reference-based editing, I would definitely recommend trying the VBVR LoRa because, at least in my testing, it noticeably improves facial consistency. Now let's test something different. Instead of reference editing, let's try a normal text-to-video generation. The prompt says, "A stunning, beautiful young woman." But don't worry, it is actually generating a text-to-video output. Again, we're using Euler, the normal, scheduler, and the same generation settings. Here's the final result. It honestly looks pretty decent. The quality is very similar to WAN 2.2, and that's not surprising since Bernini is built around that ecosystem. What really makes Bernini stand out isn't just the visual quality, it's the sheer number of different editing tasks that it can perform inside a single workflow. Now let me show you how to install everything. First, let's head over to the official GitHub page. As you can see, Bernini is described as latent systematic planning for video diffusion. It supports video-to-video editing, reference video-to-video, reference image-to-video, image insertion into videos, text-to-video, image generation, and several other editing tasks all within a single framework. Next, we'll install the ComfyUI Bernini Studio custom nodes. Simply install the node, download the required models, including the Bernini high noise models, FP8, INT8, Mixed Precision, FP16 versions, and place them in the correct directories. Don't worry, I'll leave every single download link in the description below so you won't have to search for anything yourself. One thing I really like is that you don't need multiple completely different workflows for different editing tasks. Bernini handles a huge variety of tasks using the same overall framework, making it much easier to work with. Of course, if you're only generating images, models like ZImage Turbo or the newer Crea 2 will still give better image generation quality. But when it comes to editing videos, preserving identity, inserting objects, replacing characters, and handling multiple editing tasks inside one pipeline, Bernini is incredibly powerful. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.